Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Heal Hot Girl podcast. This is episode 16.
Yay.
I'm LB.
I'm
Must
I'm Jess, your wellness bestie. What's good?
You probably know us by now, but if you don't, that's who we are.
Literally.
So yeah, welcome back. Episode 16. I really thought
Crazy.
we had to shoot this 4 times at the beginning because I thought it was episode 15 for the last 5 minutes.
Yeah.
But yeah, 16 is nutty.
60 is crazy,
Shout out
guys.
to us.
Letting y'all know in advance, we are going to be wrapping up season 1 soon. And that's coming around the corner. And I just literally can't believe that, like, 16 episodes in, we
That's
kicked it
crazy.
April. Like, wow.
And that's when we launched.
That's when we
we
launched.
launched publicly.
For sure. This is, yeah, so shout out, because that's beautiful. Like,
Yeah.
this is
We
the
might
6th
round out
episode.
at 20, which is
No, that's
crazy.
what I'm saying.
That's perfect.
Yes.
Wow.
Insane. Yeah. I just had that moment right now, and I'm like,
Yeah.
wow. So I'm excited about it because, yeah.
20 is, yeah.
20 episodes by the
Traveling here.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just
Like-
give background. We're, again, you guys, we live in different cities, each and every one of us at this moment.
Yeah.
Whew, 3 episodes ago, I told y'all I almost didn't make my flight.
Yeah.
They canceled my shit when I was at the airport. I
Between-
had to book a brand new flight.
Listen, and this isn't just like, oh, just traveling to destination. Sam has 2 dogs. LB has a dog. Like, we have family out here. Cars are needed. Like, the travel, the toll, we work 9 to, we work.
Like we all worked
Okay?
yesterday and
We
came
work,
in town
we work,
today.
and balancing our own fields, our daily life, and so it's just been a blessing. It's been a journey, and I just want y'all to know that, like, a lot went into season 1, and I know we're gonna, like, feel refreshed, renewed, because season 2 is gonna be it's gonna be amazing. I know it will.
Definitely. Hard to top season 1, but
Wow.
we will.
Well, I know that we always have our incense and things on the table, so I thought I would introduce the people to what we have today.
Tell us.
So I love incense. I always have incense in my house. Patchouli is actually a fragrance that I love. So this incense is patchouli sweetgrass. It's from a company called PF Candle Co. They make really cute.
Do you get that in
incense, all
Nashville,
black.
or is this like an
I think
online?
you can get it anywhere. There is a garden shop that I get it from. You know, I'm a plant lady, but they're all black. They're kind of moody.
Oh,
I
those
really
are
like
cool.
them. And they have all these different scents. But honestly, it doesn't even, like, this one's kind of a more expensive incense, but I think any incense is really good. Nag Champa is one of my favorite scents. So if you find a scent you like, stick with it. I like to stick with patchouli. So that's what we got today. We got a patchouli incense. And then these are, I think some people use them as prayer beads. I've actually used them as meditation beads.
How do you do that?
So, like, you know, I would just sit down to meditate, and I use each bead as, like,
To pray for something?
to pray for something, or, like, sometimes I'll do, like, what I'm grateful for as my meditation. And each bead is something I'm grateful for. And when I reach the end, I'm done.
Oh, I like that.
Oh, that's dope.
That's so
So-
awesome.
I always wonder. I thought it was like
Same,
an aesthetic
like-
thing, maybe,
It's
like
kind of both,
to like
but-
help ground you, maybe, or like bring you a little bit into like the.
love
Yeah, but so
that.
yeah, I actually use it for meditation. I know a lot of people that use it for like meditation and prayer.
Wow.
And then the candle we always have a candle. The last candle finally burned out, but we got this. Picked up these cute little teacup candles when I was in Savannah, and this is actually, Savannah is known for being like kind of like spiritual, spooky. I don't know what
It
you
is.
call it.
Like I forgot. Did they tell you in the ghost tour? Like it was something like there was a battle in Savannah. Did they tell you like why
there
there's
were-
so many? It was something. I'm about to make something
Oh,
up
there
completely.
was there was
And they-
a disease, like typhoid fever
Okay.
came over the city. That was one. There was a battle.
There was a
killed
battle
bunch
that
of
killed a
people.
bunch of people, and like
And they were all both in the same year.
oh shit,
They're
that
both in
I
the
didn't
same
know
year.
that. Yeah, so
Yeah.
like because I went to Savannah for a family reunion. God, I don't even know, maybe 6 years ago now, 8 years, whatever. Point is, I went and I did the ghost tour, and they say that it's and like did you feel like a little eerie there? Like, did you feel like a little? I feel like
didn't.
with
But the spirits followed me home. I know that.
but they have a lot of those like trees that are like
the willow.
the
tree.
willow trees
like the
and
ones in
like
Wizard of Oz?
yes,
Okay.
and so it just has like I thought it. I mean, it's a beautiful city,
Yeah.
beautiful, but yeah, I don't know. It has
Weird
like to me,
feel.
it had that like feel, like
Yeah.
weird
I've
things
never
happen
Kind of
here.
spiritual. So anyway, this is actually a spell kit. crafted for your inner goddess. So it's made with natural herbs, crystals, and soy wax, and it's meant for spell work, meditation, or relaxation. So I just like the energy of it, this like idea of like our inner goddess, and I know that kind of taps into like the subject we want to talk about, which is gender roles. And I know we've talked a lot about, we were just literally talking about on the way here from our lunch break, like we're so hyper independent. And that's like another word for like, or hyper independence is like a sign of being in your masculine energy. And so I like this candle for that reason, because it reminds us that, you know, we are here to receive abundantly. So yeah, the inner goddess candle, and they've got some little crystals. That's what we got today.
I love that. You know, we do have to tap into our, like, I love this topic now because I just had a flashback when we kicked off the question, when we did that voice note of like, what does Hyohakuro mean? And I was like, oh, it means like tapping into my femininity and what the, you know. And now that when we were in the car about being hyper independent, one of the things that I've realized while dating is like, I don't allow a man to like be a man and like do certain things. Like, why do I need to grab the door? If you want to grab it, you know? But also I think even being not accustomed being courted throughout my like experience, now I'm like, wait, I enjoy this actually. I do want to be courted and I want you to do it. But I'm also like, why am I so quick to do certain things? Like, kind of give time, let a guy like do its thing, and because I am a goddess.
She said, "Let a guy do its thing, its thing." Okay.
Let them do their thing.
Yeah, I mean, this episode, I was like, all right, where are we gonna take it? Because there's like I feel like this is like the debate of the century lately is like what everyone's supposed to be doing. Because if historically we go back to like traditional gender roles, right? Which were like women didn't work, they cooked, cleaned, birthed, did all the things, and the man, you know, took care of everything else, the house, providing, et cetera, et cetera. And over time with women's rights because women couldn't vote at a certain time and like things like that. So just, you know, now fast forward to 2023 where a lot of the playing fields are evening out, but it's like now it's like putting this disconnect between the roles because like women are now achieving, you know, financial independence and going for the same roles as men and at times exceeding that. Yeah. You know what I mean? More often than not. So it's like now the men are like, well, since you want to be a bad bitch, be a bad bitch by your damn self. And I'm like, well, wait a damn minute. I didn't say that.
Yeah.
And so it's like I don't know. I just feel like especially our age, our generation is really trying to figure out like, because I feel like our parents still fell a lot in that traditional, at least mine, like, you know, my dad always works. My mom stayed home with us. So in terms of like my family and my same as, you know, my grandparents, things like that. So now it's kind of interesting because my brother's about to get married and he's marrying a lawyer. So like financially, sorry, Jared, but yeah, financially.
Marina's got it.
But like, that's what I mean. I mean, she's a medical like she's making more money than my whole damn family. You know what I mean? So it's like, but they've accepted it. Like it's just been a flawless, like it doesn't matter. You know what I mean? Like it's been it works for them. And some people, I feel like some couples I've seen, it's been a very natural thing to fall into. It seems to be like us, like single people that are really having a hard time with it. But I don't know. Yeah. I think that.
Well, some men are insecure about it.
I mean, a lot.
Right. So like, I think that's another piece is like him feeling secure in the space that he, you know, that he holds in her life and that relationship. But I've genuinely like, I have seen the fact that like a man, you will be up. And if a man is low, and some men feel like, you know, they can't navigate life unless they could provide us in a specific way. And so I feel like there's the element of there are times in which men do that there may be truth to that, and that may be how they truly feel, but it can also be an excuse to like not grow either, you know?
Well, really where this kind of stemmed from when I put it on our agenda was my a person that I know, he was posting about not dating if you're not financially sound. Like, do you date if you're not in a financial position? And he went on to elaborate that, like, he had just started dating this girl when COVID hit. She lost her job, in turn, like, ended up moving in with him. It all happened very fast.
Oof.
Yeah.
Not moving in with him. She
COVID,
plotted
baby.
on him. My
Yeah.
God.
So, like, it was like, but he was like, he didn't have a problem taking that on because he was in a position where it was fine to bring her, like, he was doing his own thing. He was providing for himself. He had a home, like, all of that. So it was a very, like, seamless transition to have her, like, come. And I'm not saying if you're dating, you should be ready for someone to move in with you. That is not what I'm saying. I'm just kind of giving some context in terms of, like, where I kind of, like, pulled this from. And just seeing, like, what your guys' thoughts are on that in terms of, like, dating. Like,
Yeah.
what do you think?
I feel like I have to see important part of dating with intentionality now, and like this age is like I have to see how you're handling your money, because I'm thinking about long term. I'm thinking about what are your habits now? What does that look like now? You know, because if you're not financially responsible, who does that fall on? That'll fall on me. And I think there's also a piece of just like experience too, like. Financial burden is a big burden, and that's a heavy weight to carry. And I hear you till death do, like, no matter what, once you get married and that happens, or even dating and whatnot, like, you know, you feel financially responsible to some degree for your partner wherever it is that you are in. So yeah, I gotta see, like, if you're out here wilding and you're not financially sound, like, I'm not the best.
Yeah.
I'm working, and I would want someone to just even be better so that hold me accountable too. You know what I mean? Like, there has to be a duality there. So,
But in terms of courting you,
yeah.
like, do you think a man needs to have money? Like, what are, you know what I mean? Like,
and
now I'm not discounting what you're
No,
saying,
no.
but we're taking it. That's like when you're a step further into it, right? You're not necessarily making an assessment of someone the first, like, 2 weeks you know them.
Oh, I want to do things like if there's certain things. Yeah, for example, I'm at this age where like you not having a car is a problem.
Okay, I wasn't even going there. I mean, the fucking bare minimum goes. Like,
no, but some people, depending on.
But
the
dating in DC is a little bit different. There's
'cause you
people
might
that
not
don't
need
have
it.
cars.
Right.
That's not, like, crazy.
Where I get when I make that comment, what I'm also trying to expand on is just like I want to be able to do things with my person, and if I'm in a space that I can, like, I would like that too. So I don't want to date under.
Yeah.
Right now, no. You know, like, I want to.
So it's not like, baby, we're in the gutter. I got you if you're eating SpaghettiOs.
There has to be something. There has to be some kind of vision that I'm convinced on for me to be like, yo, this.
Because are you just lazy? Like, what's the problem?
Yeah, I'm just no. And also, I want to see you hustle a little.
Yeah.
I just work.
You
on
like
it.
that shit.
But that's what I'm saying.
If he's broke but got what?
Yeah.
How are you actioning on that vision? Are you executing on that vision, or are you going out playing games and then coming back and complaining, or not complaining, but you keep talking about this vision, but you're never moving towards it?
Well, I say like
those
that,
are different.
That's where you have to observe efforts, and that takes time. So
Right.
initially, it's like I have to be almost convinced on the vision too. Like, I could speak a good game. I could be like, I'm the cleanest person. When you come to my house, it's crazy. So in terms of courting right now, like financial, I want to be able to go on dates and what that looks like. But then you take it a step further, and it's like how I feel. Like, I need to observe. That'll determine whether we make it to the next phase of the dating.
Right.
I don't
And
know.
like,
What are your thoughts?
Because I can relate to that, because career wise, I'm not at my peak, and I know that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, there's
Same.
things that I want to do still, that I'm actively, like, working towards. So I can understand not reaching, like, your Mount Everest of, like, career goals. We're still in our 30s. Like, you're not a 65-year-old person. Like, I'm not expecting you to be at, like, the height of your career.
For sure.
You know what I mean? But to your point, I get up and go to fucking work every day, and like, what are you like? I don't want to leave for work and you're in the bed, and I come home and you're still in the bed.
Right.
Like, that's gonna piss me off because I actually have been in those situations. Not recently, but when I was younger, I've always worked. I've always had 2 jobs, and I used to date fucking bums. Like, I would just call it what it is, and I did. And like, I remember this was when I was younger, but like, yeah, I remember like working a double shift at Dairy Queen and Wegmans. When I left the crib, you were in the same spot. Not my house, typically his house, or it's not like people were living with me. I was not the fucking homeless shelter, but like the city mission. But you know, like, it just like, if I have ambition, I just need someone to like match that. You know what I mean? And like, do we need to go to Philippe? Now you could tell I've never been. I'm like, is it Felipe? Wow. Is it Philippe's? I clearly don't fucking need to be there either. No, but like, do I need to go to like, you know, Chop House or like, no. And it's funny because one of the first, like, a guy that has been in and out of my life for quite some time, he was like the first one that kind of like, I was just talking to the girl, some girls back in DC about this, because I was like, from the gate, like, I first went on my first date with him when I was like 21, and he was like the first one that like took me to Panos. We had a bottle of wine. He was driving a Lexus. I was like, oh, bitch, we got one. And then like,
how are you?
Bitch, we got one. Like, I was like, wow. Like, meanwhile, like, we're at fucking Panos drinking a bottle of Moscato. Like, which is, to give context, like, it's just like it's like a restaurant diner in Buffalo. Like, it's not that deep, but it was like my favorite restaurant. But listen, I never had a whole bottle of wine on chill for me. Like, ooh, what? Baby. And then I could order dessert and an appetizer. I was like, oh, we fucking made it. So, and then like, we lost touch for a while. And then when he came back in my life, like, our experiences were always extravagant. They were always like, to me, they were a little bit extra, but it was like, if we go somewhere, there's bottle service. And that was just how he lived his life. It didn't necessarily have to do with me. And I was like, damn, when you live like, and then it eventually graduated to taking flights and going on vacations, and like, and then once you experience certain shit like that, sometimes it's like hard to like go back to like being regular, for lack of better terms. You know what I mean? So like, once you date or once you have certain experiences, I think it's hard to like dial it back. Sure. I really do. Because I've tried to do that, and I'm like, this just isn't hitting the way that filet mignon and fucking
and the tomahawk steak.
Yeah, with the like, order whatever you want, and like, because I'm a very like mindful person. Like, I'm not gonna go out. It doesn't matter like who you are. I'm not gonna go out and spend
I'm not going to buy things that I can't buy with my own money, or something that I wouldn't
unless you
order
got it
with
like
my
that,
own money.
and you really are like, no, babe, get
like,
whatever
baby,
you want.
Appetizer, get the caviar.
Exactly. Or he orders it anyway, or something like that. Like, I'm not an asshole. Like, I'm not one of those girls that's gonna just like go out to eat and like run your pockets just off of the strength of like, when I wouldn't be eating lobster and steak any other time, but I'm gonna make you pay for it. Like, I'm not that type of person. So, but when it's given to you, and like, this is what they want to do, and you know, just dating different people over time, it was like, but those situations didn't work out. So then I was like, okay, let's try something different. So I would like, you know, go for like the less, you know what I mean? Now that I think about it, though, I have no happy medium. I go from either like all the way up here to like, baby, I'm broke, and like, I need to maybe find like the medium.
Definitely fine.
Do you expect like, I guess when you first start dating someone, do you expect them to pay?
Yes.
The first date initially,
absolutely,
I will say, like,
the first several. We're not going anywhere if you're not paying. No, that's crazy. That's crazy to me.
For sure. I still, I definitely, like, I'm fair. I too am fair, and so, if you're asking me out, I mean, our first initial date, it's because I'm being asked out. I'm not asking, man, let's go out on a date.
Yeah. Anytime you ask me to go somewhere,
I could shoot shot, but I'm not saying let me take you out. That's crazy. Yeah. No. No. So Not
You might slide in the DM, but you're not setting up the first date. Is what
absolutely
you're
not.
saying.
Yeah, no. Like I'm already giving you the rocket.
Right.
Now I need to put you on the moon too.
Right.
That's crazy. No.
Not put
You're
you on the
paying. You're
moon,
paying
too.
for the date.
She's
If,
like,
we're-
I'm
if
not
we
setting
go
you
on a
all the way
date,
up.
you're paying.
Oh, yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
if we're dating, that's different.
Yeah.
And like we've been
We'll
seeing each other.
alternate.
We don't alternate. I'll every fourth or something. Like
Oh,
I'm
facts.
I'm
I'm like the
I'm gonna
70-30
go out
rule.
and like buy you things.
I'm
or
on the
gonna bring home lunch.
100-0.
No, I feel like I'm
No.
like 70-30.
Yeah.
Like,
Like,
you know,
you'll
I'll
every
do nice
few,
things.
you're like,
yeah, like I'll
pull
go
your
pick up
wallet out.
lunch or
Yeah.
dinner. Yeah, I'll pull
Yeah.
my wallet out. I'll buy you something nice
Yeah.
if we're seeing each other.
and baby, I'm gonna take
But-
care of you when you home. You know
but
what I
yeah.
mean? Like, and I do the add-on. You know, I do what you don't do.
Yeah.
But
Yeah,
I'm
I'm
like
not-
definitely 70-30. You do have to have some. You have to have some money because I like to do things, and I wanna. But I also feel good. Like I want to see the effort. Now I'm measuring efforts. I want to see the effort, and yeah, because for me, there could be a lot of free shit that you do. But there's also a lot of effort that goes behind planning all those things to do. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So for me, it just matters. Like I want to also be financially conscious because dating is expensive.
It's very expensive.
Going out with your significant other is like, and I want to be conscious of that too. Like, yo, every time we go out, I know we're spending money. We're because I'm with you. And it's not my money, but I'm just like, damn, I know what
Y'all
that.
know what I subscribe to. My money is my money, and his money is my money. Hello.
We share
yeah.
his money.
Share his money.
It's,
My money is mine.
Nonetheless, though, like, yeah, I do think it's important. Like, if you're a man or a woman and financially you're just not in this, you're not comfortable, you don't feel comfortable enough. I don't know, just get your finances together because in the a partner, a significant other will always come about when that time comes, you know? And sometimes we want to yearn for that significant other, and it's really hard getting ahead being single.
It is.
It's hard. Like,
you pay
gotta
all
do
your
You
own
gotta
shit.
do all this stuff by yourself.
Okay.
Sweetheart, let me
So
tell you something.
I'm saying get right first before anything. The same way we got to get our mental right. There's no reason like mentally, emotionally, physically. If we're saying come healed, also come financially right, correct. I don't
Yeah.
think you should negate that because that's a part of your whole.
Yeah.
That's the full picture, baby. Because a burden to yourself is a burden to a man. And a burden to a woman or whoever it is that you're with.
yeah.
Don't be a financial burden.
No,
You'll get divorced.
that's what I mean. That's why I say like I'm just not. It's not my nature. But like I'll see, these posts where I'm like I'm ordering this, and this on his tab, and I'm like, that's just also
That's too
you're.
much.
Yeah.
That's also just. I don't think you're a good person.
Yeah. Take me shopping though if you want.
Earlier-
Surprise me
Like
with a
that.
shopping scene.
Earlier this year,
Which I'll probably only get one thing anyway.
a guy asked me if I would date a man who makes less money, and my initial reaction was yes, that it didn't matter because I provide for myself. But then when I sat with that answer for a little bit, I'm like,
Yeah, I don't want that.
it does matter to me. It does matter to me that you're not just financially sound, but like not to say that I don't want a man who makes less than me, but I don't want a man that makes less than me.
Do you think men are okay with are more okay with women making less than them?
Oh, men are super, but men are natural providers. You know what I mean? You got something to say, Akil?
What are your No, what are your thoughts?
He cleared his throat.
Yeah.
For men or for women or both?
Like, is it okay if you're
Yeah. Okay.
okay?
Right. Just to be able to
Yeah.
provide for her.
To provide,
Yeah.
yeah. And I guess that was the other thing that this man asked me that like really changed my perspective a little bit. Because he's like, well, what does it mean to be a provider to you? And I think that's where I came up with the idea that it wasn't money that I need a man to, because I thought about, I'm like, what do the men that I value in my life provide me with? They provide me with stability. They provide me with comfort. When I need something done, they act like it's their pleasure to do it. Like these are the things, and they're just always there. Security,
Your
right?
handyman.
So I was like, oh, it's not that they need to make more money than me. It's that, they need to do all these other things. But then I was thinking about it. I don't need someone to do that, but I want someone to make more money than me. Because not only that, but I'm trying to get money with you. And if you don't have that mindset, then it's not going to go anywhere.
I also just think about like future children. Like I really do hope that I become a mom one day, and like again, that's a big burden. That's just a lot. And you have someone dependent on you. And I really do want us to be straight. And there's certain things that I would like. There's a certain image in my head. Like, I would like the opportunity to raise my kids, like at least the first 2-3 years and not have to work. That would be dope. And work, like let me and go. I'm okay with like, I don't ever see a space where I'm never not working, just not working for where I'm working, like that type of work.
Well, there's a lot of, things that you see like on social media too, when wives, high profile people get divorced and the wives get all this money and everyone's like, she didn't do shit. She shouldn't be getting half, blah, blah. I'm not here to decide a percentage, okay? I'm not saying everyone, I don't know if half is, but if you gave that man children, you held his home down, and you did all of the things so he could focus on what he needed to focus on to make all that money, you're damn sure that she's entitled to something. Yeah. So, like, I don't understand this narrative where people come up with, like, just because you get divorced, she didn't make the money, she doesn't deserve anything. I'm like, but also, that man probably told her not to work. That man probably told her to have his kids. That man probably told her she didn't need a job. So now when she tries to enter the workforce 10 years later, all she can do is get an entry-level job making $35,000 a year because she has no experience because she's been at home taking care of your shit. So, like, that was one thing that just really, like, grinds my gears of, like, the social media people that are like, she's just a gold digger. She's taking all his shit. And to some degree... Maybe.
If I marry that man and has kids, you're damn right I'm taking his. It's mine.
Because most recently,
mine is mine and his is mine. Let me just repeat that again.
Most recently, it was Larsa Pippen. That's the one thing that I've seen a lot lately is she is getting half of Scottie Pippen's money out of their divorce. How long have they been together? They were together like 20 years.
That was his business, and that was his problem.
They had 4 kids.
Come on.
She didn't work at all. Stayed home. But this is what I'm like. It's like. I understand where everyone's argument is that, like, well, he was the one that went to work and he was the one that earned the money. But she took care of everything on the back end so he could do that. Otherwise, he would have came out.
Even if she was a hoe behind the scenes, too. That would.
Right. Well.
Yeah. Kids are a job.
Yeah, you have kids. I don't know.
Ask anybody who stays home with children, man or woman.
Multiple of them things too, not just one. You know what I mean?
They are tiny terrorists. You don't get a break from them. Like, it's constant.
She's around kids more than me.
I am around kids a lot. They are terrorists. Yeah.
Well,
that's the thing.
Nurtured, fed.
Yeah. It is nonstop, 24/7.
I've had the luck of, I shouldn't say, it's not even a luck thing, but I have family members who are great examples of stay-at-home moms. Like, there's one person that comes to mind, and I'm like, specifically who their dynamic, she's a stay-at-home mom, but they came from the Dominican Republic, and she's a stay-at-home mom literally to help her husband advance in his career.
And he did.
And they're very well. They're doing very
yeah.
well off. They're putting their kids through college, like three beautiful kids. But my whole point in that is, like, she does a lot. Not only is she financially responsible with the money, he doesn't make her feel like that money that he earns is not hers. She can swipe away or whatever as what she wants, but she's also mindful. Like, this is she's
not taking advantage of it. She's not like taking it from the kids or taking from the family.
But she's also not working. Let me tell you something. Between being the chef and making sure that her husband is well fed at breakfast, lunch, and dinner, her kids, taking them to school, playing nanny, grocery shopping, cleaning the house. There's no housekeeper. I'm talking about, like, fully running a household. On top of that, being the mom, being the wife, and not being able to have any other income. Like, if they were to ever separate, half. You're crazy. You're not telling me she's not deserving of that.
People hire nannies and shit
to do that same shit that moms do or wives do.
Nannies, like,
this is a full on, like.
And so,
thank you. Yeah.
This is why the prenup conversation came in, because my girl, Sahar, I don't know her last name, but she was saying she's a lawyer, and she said you think about it from a legal perspective. Like, from a legal perspective, a lot of people will say, like, the woman didn't do anything, right? Or she's only entitled to so much because she didn't go to work. But that's why the prenup is where the prenup comes in. You agree, if I'm not going to work, I'm getting this much money for every year that I'm out of work. If I have this kid, I get this much money. If I have 2 kids, I get this much money. Because honestly, like, as women trying to re-enter the workforce, or women trying to get back out there, like, from society standards, your value has now gone down. So if our value is just going to decrease with time, then I need to make sure I'm being compensated for that.
Right.
So that's where the prenup comes in. I mean, I don't know for people who are already married, but like for anybody who, like, look, I'm in the prenup business. I'm about to be in the prenup business.
You should.
No, yeah.
Because I mean, I'm not
prenup
planning
counseling.
on getting, like, I just mean, like, and
We
let's
need
do
it.
that. Let's agree on what it looks like. How do we want to raise our kids if we're not together while we
No,
still are
seriously.
happy? Because God forbid something happens, it happens. Let's decide that now, so we know what it looks like when if that time comes. And
And for-
hopefully it doesn't, but if
yeah.
it does come, like, I need security, and I need to know that I'm taken care of and that my kids are taken care of. And at this point, that's the only way to do that, because that narrative is the woman didn't do anything.
Would you like, where was it? Okay. Would this prenup only apply if you're a stay-at-home?
No.
Okay. So what would a prenup look like if you're also working? It's basically
Well, for kids, yeah.
Okay.
I'm having your children. Goodbye. I also got to take time off work for that. My body is changing. Again, my value when I go out to redate, if we break up, now I got 3 kids I'm tagging along. Like, yeah, I need my coin.
And 3 kids for a woman and 3 kids for a man.
Man,
are not
it's
the
two
same.
different
It's
Let's
not the
be
things.
same.
very
We got
real.
kids
let's
attached
talk
to
about
us
that
our whole
too.
lives. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? Like,
Yeah, no, it's so easy for a man, I feel like, for a woman to raise somebody else's kids.
Absolutely.
oh yeah, women take that on a lot.
Yeah.
Because we're natural caretakers.
Right.
So that's really not. And when you're, I mean, accepting of a man, you're accepting his children. But I'd more so mean that, like, yeah, I do think that women tend to be more accepting of children than men are accepting of women having children,
Yeah.
especially multiple.
For sure.
You know, once you get to 2 and 3 kids, it's like,
It's like, damn.
you know what I mean?
She
It's
expensive.
Right.
She
no,
comes in
absolutely.
4.
2. I think anything more than
After
2.
is
Yeah.
a lot.
Yeah. 3 kids
And also,
is
like, is
OD.
it 2 with the same person? Is it 2 with 2 different people? You know, those are
Damn.
questions. I need answers.
For sure. And those things matter too.
Yeah.
I think just even it's very complex. I think dating anyone with kids.
Dating is really hard,
I
I
don't know if
think,
it's for me.
right now, because
It's
I'm
tough.
finding a lot of
Yeah.
men in their soft girl era.
Uh-oh.
Akil, are you noticing this?
You knew she was.
There's a lot of men in their soft girl era. The tighter the pants, the more feminine. Y'all want us to text you first.
Yeah.
I had a guy on my first of all,
Shots
you're on my
fired.
Instagram. That's annoying. Like, you got my number, text me. Be a whole man, text me. But instead, you're on my Instagram talking about you must have been busy because I didn't hear from you all weekend. Well, why would you hear from me? You're not consistent. Why would I
Yeah.
waste my time?
For sure.
Like, you want me to text you to reassure you? Get out of here.
I think that like the whole reason that like soft girl era even is a thing, right? Because like a lot of opinions and stuff is being shared and people see stuff, people sharing their experiences and kind of going off that. And stuff. So it's like y'all taking it, well, gaining one thing from it, and I think dudes is gaining another thing.
What do you think
What do
men
you
are
think
gaining
men are
from
getting?
it? To be more vulnerable or like be more open about like how they really feel versus like just taking on this like
Like in the past, I guess society kind of had things like clear cut. It is what it is. Like,
Yeah.
This is women take that, but shit is morphing. And I think it's not only morphing for women, but for men, I think that might be the part that's morphing for men. Like,
They want to be taken care of.
and all that, more sensitive.
Want to be texted first.
Yeah.
That are emotional,
it's like what do you want? Which do you
Where's
want?
your-
emotionally intelligent, shit like that. You know what I mean? But a lot of stuff come with that. You know,
Yeah.
there's side effects too.
No, you're right. That's a good point. I didn't think of it that way.
One of them things.
It's true.
Soccer dudes might be in there even when they ain't back.
Yeah, but men I think men also want us to not only be tapped into our femininity, like less a little masculine, like not be so hyper independent. But I feel like has to be a duality too. Like you can be masculine and be emotional and be vulnerable, you know?
That's hard to manage. I mean, like, as a person, everybody don't been through that stuff. People,
Yeah.
like, everybody process stuff different.
That's true.
That's
Yeah.
true. Everybody processes differently.
Yeah,
No, there's a lot of guys showing the femininity lately. I'm
Yeah.
sorry. It's making me
It's true
making
because
me real
it'll
mad.
come out in different ways. I've had like you'll see a man might become more sensitive about certain things. You're like, I didn't even know he would get mad about that. Like,
Yeah.
I feel away.
And like I'm glad you brought that up actually, Denzel, because I feel like that brings up, like, I didn't really think of it that way, that like we didn't, you know, for so long society has like not encouraged men to have vulnerability or to speak up about how they really feel. But I think there's a fine line, and I think we're blurring the line. You know what I mean? Like, I think that it's okay, because I don't want to be with a man that's got so much pent up shit that it's like coming out, because it manifests somewhere, right? If you're not saying it, it's coming out through your behavior, it's coming out through mental health, it's coming out through depression, it's coming out through different avenues. So like, I definitely would want to be with a man that's able to talk to me about how he's really feeling and like what's really going on. I think where we're getting a little bit fucked up at is like the expectation now that maybe women are supposed to take on. I'm trying to think of how I'm trying to word this, because I'm like, I have a train of thought, but I'm not really saying it the way I want to. But like, I understand where you're coming from, and I think that that's a good point. But I think gotta tighten up maybe a little. You know what I mean? Like, you know,
Cause it's certain stuff that I'm not gonna do. You know what I mean?
right.
It's just like
What's one thing?
having
Like an
I
example.
will say this. It's not about what you say, it's how you say it.
Yeah.
That's a big thing for me. Like, I might feel some type of way about something, and I'll sit on it to say it the right way.
Yeah. Yeah.
For us to actually have a conducive conversation about it and not be argumentative. You feel me? So
Yeah.
it's like, yeah, I think that might be more so.
And I think that that's a good way to put it now that I've had a minute to kind of think it through a little bit more, because part of this conversation we're talking about too is like traditional roles, right? So not only are we talking about the way that we're communicating our expectations, but we're just talking about what the expectation of each gender is supposed to be, right? So let's say we're together. I want you to express your feelings and I want you to say that, but are we now switching it into like, I still expect you to like make me a sandwich and like do all these things. You know what I mean? I'm trying to articulate this the best that I can, but like, I just think it's okay to express yourself, but does that change the expectation from a man? Maybe it's the best way that I'm trying to say that.
Yeah.
Like, express yourself and be vulnerable, but does that mean that now you're not planning dates and now it's my responsibility to take you out and that's where I think we're getting like a little bit fucked up with this whole thing, is like, I definitely want men to be more vulnerable, and I definitely want men to be able to like express themselves. Like Malcolm was just talking out here about like, you know, me being a therapist. He's like, you know, I think you should do more therapy with black men. Like, I think that's something, and that's something that I think we all as a society need to expand, is men's mental health, especially black men's mental health. Even though the black woman is really the most is the worst out of it at all. You know what I mean? But that's a whole other conversation for another day. But I think that's where we're getting a little bit fucked up at. Is like now, because, and maybe we're interpreting it. So I'm glad we had this conversation, because maybe we're also interpreting them just sharing how they feel as being soft or being. Is that where you're?
No.
Okay.
No. They want me to text first.
Okay.
They probably want me to plan a
Do
date.
the courting. They want the
Okay.
woman to do the
Ugh.
courting.
So that's
Or
what we're
like-
talking about. Is
Yeah.
like, we want men to be more open, and we should create a space for them to feel that.
Sure.
But if you still want us to get up and make a sandwich at 2:00 in the morning, you should still be taking us on dates.
Yeah.
It's like, you want to, I'm not doing all that if I'm not happy.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, as a woman, I'm just saying, I wouldn't be making nobody
Right.
shit.
I mean, I would love.
And that has to come through other actions.
Yeah.
Right.
That make me feel safe, provide security like that. So on top of like, hey, this is, I don't know if I like to go skating or something.
Yeah.
Be skating, you know,
Yeah.
really try to bond with your partner.
Yeah.
That's how you really get what you want out of a person.
No, I agree with that. And another thing from dating in DC recently, because I was just complaining. I was like, let me tell you, in Buffalo, there's some motherfuckers that love the shit out of me here, right? Like, people, I mean, granted, I've been here for a long time, but I'm like, I feel like a lot of people out here just like value me for who I like really am. And like I date in DC, and I'm realizing out there, it doesn't matter the person. Like a lot of men out there just like dating, like it's like you're like a refillable person. You know what I mean? Like they don't necessarily take the time to get to know who I am because there's so many other women that's like, okay, let's go to dinner. That's cool, but like I'm gonna go like you're
like hopping.
You're like one of 100.
Yeah.
So it's like there's really not a lot of like. Whereas out here, I mean, again, I've been out here for longer. I grew up here. I cultivated
Smaller
a lot of
pool.
relationships, but I was like, I can't understand why like at home like people love the fuck out of me, and I come out here and it's like, no,
Yeah.
not that they don't. Like I still have dates and get attention, but it's like I'm realizing that I'm so disposable to men out there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Well, like that, I think that's the piece with date. It's ads. Not only is it caught, it's like someone. I don't know. It's so hard because it all takes time, and like not a lot of people want to like to your point to invest
the
in the time
that it takes to get to know someone for
and
real.
it's like, well, what spaces? Then it becomes like, what spaces are we in? You know, and like it's just you gotta. Honestly, this is where I'm just like, let God bring them because this is too much. Me.
She was talking about a dude that she met at the gym. They were dating. It didn't work out. He came to her and told her why it didn't work out because he didn't want to date with people. She was worried about like why don't guys fuck with me or like me. And she just would also like just stay on your path, stay on your course.
Yeah.
If it come, it comes.
There comes.
Yeah.
A lot of people they want what they want, right?
Yeah.
A lot of us kind of I want to do this by 30. I want this by 25. I want this by 40. Like when that shit don't come, it kind of hit a little different.
yeah, no
Yeah.
facts.
Especially with the dating shit.
Yeah.
A lot of women want to be married by 35, all this type of stuff.
Ooh, I got rid of my dreams. I'm turning 35
Yeah.
this year.
Kind of really
Yeah.
Yeah.
like when certain things don't go the way they wanted to, relationship like romantic, it's like it would be hurt. Like trying to grasp at anything.
Oof. I've been in both those phases. I've been in a phase where I've been grasping at, and that's where self-love came in for me though, because it's like I read something that was like, if you don't have the love when you feel it, if you don't have it in yourself when you feel it, you're gonna grasp for it.
Absolutely.
The whole gender thing in itself, though, right? Because when men might have this idea or perception of the timeline, it's like we the ones that kind of got a court, like you said.
Yeah.
It's really in your court for
Yeah.
real. It's up to you.
For women, I can see how that perception is different, and it's like, fuck, like, I could shoot my shot here, but I'm not doing
All the
Yeah,
legwork.
yeah.
I don't want to eat.
Yeah.
Right.
Facts.
damn sure
Yeah.
right. Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Perception is crazy. That perspective is nuts.
Crazy. I have a question. So I was getting my computer fixed at work, and the IT person has been married. He's 56 years old, and he's been married to his partner for 25 years. His parents, whereas we're together, his mom's a widow, etc. So, he comes from a two-parent household. Anyway, he says the 3 things that he tells men before they get married is if you say no to any of these things, he does not advise to get married. The first one is, he said, you have to be okay that it's not about you. It'll never be about you. Father's Day is not about you. Holidays is not about you. The moment you get on your knee, you put your woman on a pedestal.
Ooh, love that. Love that.
The second,
Facts.
okay. The second piece is do chores and do more chores. Do your chores and do her chores. And I was like, well, interesting, because my argument to that was, like, growing up, my mom is the one that does that, and I know, like, both my parents are clean, but, like, I've seen my mom, like, no one cleans the bathroom better than me. And he was like, you think your mom wouldn't want to be on the sofa drinking Prosecco? And I was like,
It's true.
Hell yeah.
The bathroom earlier, so
Yeah.
I gotta do it now.
Yeah.
You don't gotta do all that. I did one whole week. It makes sense. I was like,
yeah.
Happy wife, happy life.
And then the last thing was, oh my gosh. What was the last thing? Give me 1 second. I'm going to pull it up. But this one was good.
Probably
Shout out-
she's always right.
Huh.
Don't argue her
You're
down.
always wrong.
The-
She's always right.
3 is your spouse is not your best friend. He's like, in this new age, it's like, oh, your partner is your best friend. That's your best friend before you get married. He's like, no. He's like, best friend is the person that knows your body count. Your wife, no number is going to be enough for you to know your wife's body count. And not only that, but, like, your wife doesn't know your body count. And I thought that was interesting. So I'm just curious to what's your appeal? Because I'm like, okay, the best friend thing, fine. I think the only thing I had to say was about, damn, like that's unfortunate. Men really do feel like it's not about them. The moment they get down, like it's not, I'm like, but it is.
I think it's more so like, happy wife. I mean, it's just like a unit thing, right? Like I really feel like if you getting married, it becomes like you gotta be worried about
Yeah.
So it's like it's really not about you. I mean, I feel like maybe I feel like with my son, like I mean, this is different, of course, but it's like with him, I realized like I don't really do. I do stuff for me, but like in the back of my mind, I'm making sure it's straight.
Right.
It would be the same thing if I had a girlfriend or
Okay.
like, you know, I'm trying to make sure that I'm always gonna have her in the back of my mind.
Yeah.
So it's like you operate from that space, of course.
Yeah.
It's naturally gonna happen.
It's one hand is gonna wash the other because like you're making this sacrifice
Yeah.
and now your wife is able to, you know.
And then that's kind of the same thing with the second step, right? One hand washing the other. You don't
Yeah.
want your person to be overwhelmed at home.
Yeah. Yeah.
This shirt too.
Yeah.
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 Oh man, I was dating a guy who paid the rent, and I remember he said to me, and I would often do most of the cleaning. He paid all whatever, but I remember he would say on occasion, like, because I would always cook and clean. He was like, he said on more than one occasion that he would do the dishes. I remember we got into a fight because he didn't do the dishes, and he said he was gonna do them. And you know, it fucks with me. I need the dishes out of the sink. Alyssa's live with me. I need the dishes out of the sink.
She will come pick you up at the bar. So
I need the dishes out of the sink. So like when I see them piling up, I'm like, all right, you're gonna do the dishes, right? You're gonna do it. And then it got into like, well, why do I have to do them anyway? I'm like,
Yeah.
my good God, you said you were going to. That's why, because you opened your mouth and offered to do it, and now I expect you to do it. And now
Yeah.
you know what I mean? So like I remember that was a thing, and it was like, and it was more of a traditional gender rolled relationship, and I hated it. I hated it.
That's so interesting. Well, good to know that you feel that way. What are your thoughts on that? Like,
I don't know. I just really feel like, I mean, I grew up in a household with a traditional gender role. Like I said, my mom was home with us till she left her full-time job when my brother was very little, and then didn't work maybe for 5 years, 6 years, and then she never worked full-time again. But she worked part-time. My mom definitely contributed financially to the household. Not to the level that my dad did. But I guess for me, it's like, you just have to find that person that it just works for. You know what I mean? Like, I don't want to be in a situation where it's tit for tat. Like, I did this, so you did that. So let's, like, you owe me this because I did that. Like, I think the biggest thing for me is, like, partnership. And I think that
It's not always going to be 50-50.
Right.
Yeah.
But it shouldn't always be 80-20 either.
Right. And I think it's just like recognizing the person that you're going to be with. Like Jess and I, we were talking about this whole like Keke Palmer shit. We were talking about it yesterday, and I was like, I'm not going to get into like what I think or what I don't, but what I said was she knows her man. Like, you know who your man is. You know who you're with. There's no way you didn't know that reaction wasn't coming. You know what I mean? Like, that's my whole thing with this whole thing is like, and I think a lot of people get in relationships with people that they really don't actually know. And because it looks good or it feels good or whatever. And like, I've always been, the reason why I've struggled so much with connections is like, I'm a vibe and like a soul person. Like, if I can't feel like comfortable with you and I don't feel like we align, like I can't do anything with you. So I think for me is like, I don't want to be in a situation where, I mean, do I think we should have conversations about expectations? Yes, but you would do that with a roommate. You would do that with anyone you're sharing a space with. Like, what do you need to be comfortable? What do I need to be comfortable? And it was always like that way. I've never seen, like, my mom did everything with a smile. My dad did everything with, like, it would just worked. So it was just like, no one argued about what to do. And now that my dad's retired, like, my dad does a majority of the cooking now. He's the one planting the garden in the back and growing all of his vegetables.
And Lori is living her best
And my mom
life.
is like drinking wine in the lawn chair like your dad is
she's
doing
making
this.
the calendar plans. Don't get me
Yeah.
wrong.
Oh, yeah. They're booked
they're
and
on their way to a
busy.
Tuscany theme party.
But like, they just really like, they just genuinely love each other and like they make it work. And I think for me, it's just like, that's like, fuck all this like bullshit that we're like talking about this person needs to do this and I expect you to do that and blah, blah, blah. I think at the end of the day, both genders are afraid to be vulnerable with each other for various reasons. So I think that just leads to breakdown in communication, which just leads to like more and more issues. So it's just like, I think that you have to find like
The balance.
you have to find a balance. And I think, as women, your gut is always going to tell you with a man. Like, you can't tell me that some situations that women get in, you didn't know that shit in the very deep down of your heart. You know what I mean? Like, you went against it and then you ended up in this situation. But 8 times out of 10, you already know, damn, I probably shouldn't have married this person. Or I didn't like this about them before we even got married. But then went ahead and did it anyway. And then now you're in a situation that's 10 times worse than that. So, like,
I agree.
I don't know. I just think for me that, especially because I'm so independent, I'm about to be 35 years old. I've done this shit from the ground up by myself with my parents. I mean, I have my parents and everything. They've been great supports to me. But me moving, me getting a master's degree, me doing all the things that I've done, I did that
Talk your
shit my
LB.
fucking self.
Talk your shit, LB.
So the way that I look at it is like, it's not even about me being, I don't mind having a man lead me, but these men will lead you to fucking the desert and leave you there with no fucking
They
water.
sure will.
And then drop you
and
off.
then tell you, well, I told you.
It's crazy.
That's what I mean. Like,
Yeah.
it's like discernment. We need to use discernment as women. And like, these men, like I said, I'm just like, they will tell you, not all of them. I'm not making, and I don't want to put a blanket statement over everything because I don't think that's definitely not the case. There's a lot of good men that I know and that I'm around. But in order for me to feel comfortable to even allow you into that space in my life, I have to feel solid on who you are as a person, who you are at your core, and who you are to me before we can even get to that conversation of marriage and kids and moving in together. And like, I would love to not be this independent. Like, I would,
Good Lord.
God, like, I would love to not. But it's like, at this point, I really have no other choice because it's either that or taking a chance on someone. I could end up homeless and broke in the blink of a fucking eye.
The
You know
wrong
what I mean?
partner will definitely.
For sure.
Like, you could end
definitely.
a bad relationship could really set you back horribly. I've seen it. Financially, spiritually, emotionally, physically. It'll drain you.
It'll drain you. It'll drain you.
You know what I mean?
It'll
And it's
lead
like
you the road back to therapy.
Yes. So I think we get so caught up in like what everybody should be doing, and it's like, nah. Do your thing, live your life, and then eventually the shit will align.
Let's come together. I agree. You hit it right on the head. Honestly, there's just nothing, I think, more necessary than balance in a partnership, for sure. Like, and that's just, part of the gender role conversation is just like getting to know your person and like allowing people to just, play what is it that they like to give off and whatnot. Like, one of the things that the IT man had said was, I said, what's your favorite thing about your wife?
Who is this man? Where did you see him? I'm sorry.
He's IT. He's my
For your
IT
job?
For my job.
Oh
Yeah.
my God, love it. You got into this conversation with your IT? Were you
I
at work?
was waiting over 2 hours for a computer. So yes, I'm like,
You have to fill it?
He's like, I'm not that chipper, and I'm like, well, my last name's Felice, so we're about to have a chippery conversation.
We're just happy in Spanish, by the way.
But so I had asked him, what is your favorite thing about your wife? Because this marriage don't sound that exciting the way you're putting it to me, right? And he was like, what I love most about her also like irritates me. He's like, she makes everything so beautiful. And he's like, I'm a functional man. So one of the things that I say functional piece because let me finish explaining. So he goes, she purchased a coffee. He bought her a coffee table because she wanted a coffee table. So she goes, do you like the coffee table? And he takes his cup and he puts it on the coffee table. And he's like, the cup is still on it. So it works. Like, right. But she wants like the beauty. Oh my God, it's so whatever. She buys curtains. She asks him like, do you like the curtains? Don't they look nice? And he's like, in the last 25 years, she still doesn't get that, like, I'm about functionality. I don't care if it looks beautiful. So does it block the sun? Great. And I was like, sometimes there could be where, like, I know for me, like, as a woman, sometimes I can assume that, like, a man wants you to ask. Even though he's clearly saying in the last 25 years, you don't need to ask me if this looks good because I don't care. But I'm like, do you think you'll ever notice if she stops asking you? And he's like, well, I can't test it because she hasn't. So, and I wonder, and that even that in itself, he was trying to say like men just aren't also as complex as
which is so
what
true.
we're thinking that they might care about. They really aren't. And He says it. It's beautiful, but it irritates him.
Well, oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
That's how I know. Like, that's especially when you start talking to someone, you're like, all right, I know no bitch lives here because I'm telling you, there's no way a bitch would live here living in these conditions. Like, there's just like no way.
I'm crazy. I'll go into it while you're thinking. I'll go into the spot after a little while, and I'm like, I'm like, we need to reorganize this.
Yeah.
This doesn't make sense here. Like, I'm like, you're gonna come back. You're not gonna know where your cups and plates are because I shifted the whole location. That's the only person's stuff that I'll touch if I'm dating you. And like I'm comfortable enough, I'm rearranging certain shit because some of this just looks like it's too bachelor pad.
I think I date both of you because both of you come to my house and rearrange things. Every time you both leave,
true.
my house is completely different.
I don't rearrange things. I put
I'm
it back.
definitely rearranging some shit because honestly, why is there so much stuff on the table? Like,
No.
I could, like, let me just.
I appreciate it
Let
though.
me just like put this together. I'm gonna put this back where it's supposed to go. You know, this looks really nice here, LB. I'm gonna just put this right here. Like,
Nah, I clean up after myself. I clean. I'll do like, you know, things like if I see something, I'll like whatever. But I don't be moving your shit around. I put it right back. Like this is where her clothes were. This is where all the clothes are gonna go.
She'll fold them.
They're
and
just
then
gonna
put
be
them
folded
there.
and nice.
Yeah, no,
that's
that's
it.
facts.
I'll be like, oh, there's papers on the table. No problem. Like I'm gonna just shift it. But yeah, it's just organize it. Like
I like need space. Like hate, but I also grew up in a household that was cluttered. So it was like clutter drives me crazy. I gotta I need like. So I don't like staying at my family's house when I go home. Because I'm like, why is there stuff everywhere? Like, there's so many things. Like,
I know she sent me like a picture like of when you were saying it with just like all the shit on like a dresser of just like
so many.
It was like paint or like
in the room that I'm in
like,
right now, there are 2 dog crates that my mom doesn't use. There's a big dog crate. I'm like, why do you have this? Why are these in here?
I'm on the other side. I'm like halfway because like my mom. One thing about my mom, like sometimes like I also recognize like people have their things where they want it because that's how they want it.
Yeah.
You know, so I'm also on that piece because there'll be things where I'll put something on my bathroom and she'll come in and I'm like, why? You want it to look a specific way. I want it this way. So same with like other people's spaces too. It's like for your eye, but like for them, this is functional. And so like that, I'm also sensitive to that because that will irritate me too. Like, you're wilding. Like, okay, don't be coming in here moving my shit.
So, okay, you know how I said that there was such thing as like a woman's touch on shit?
Yeah.
Is there like an equivalent for men? Is there like a men's?
No.
Like, I mean, the way y'all lift shit, like garbage outside
Take
and
shit
heavy
outside,
things.
but
No
yeah,
one does that
no.
shit like y'all. No one opens a jar like y'all. Like, y'all got that.
Well, I'll
Y'all got
say,
that.
no, kind of, or the things that I want to be more feminine about. I don't want to pump my gas. Like, if you're in the car with me, pump my, you know, the little things. I think a men's touch is really how your woman, when you have a solid man, I feel like, and you guys are in a good, healthy partnership. I think just how a woman walks in her aura and energy, that's a touch that a man could bring. You know what I mean?
No, that's definitely true.
Baby, when
you see a girl shine, when you see a woman shining,
glowing,
it's not necessarily always because of man. I'm not going to say that.
No.
But like she's being treated very well in whatever situation she's in. She's being treated well.
What kind of touch do you think men offer women?
Probably the same thing. Like
Sexual too?
well, no,
Phys-
no freaky shit. Just like a woman feeling confident.
Yeah.
Like you said,
Yeah, she could go
I'm
out.
not saying that that's always at a man's.
Yeah, not always at a man, but she's feeling good. She's being treated well. She's eating good. Look, she's not lifting nothing heavy. Like I'm just saying, there's something.
But
Yeah, there's something to the glow.
or one of the things I'm noticing recently are like even the things that like women may not care about. For example, like inside my car, I might have like 80 bottles of water. Like I don't know, but you know, I have someone that will literally purposely take out the trash from my car. Like I think those are gentle touches. Those are little things in life where I'm like,
it's just thoughtful.
It's
more so like you pay attention to me.
You're noticing that I shouldn't live like that. Thank you.
No, yeah, and I mean, he ended up being a fucking nightmare, but I dated one guy at one point that used to like just bring me a little something every time. Like he just paid attention to my favorite kind of candy or what I like to drink or like, you know, little stuff like that. And it wasn't major, but it was like, oh, I noticed this about you. Although I don't know if I would call it a date, but I went out with this guy that's actually from here, but he lives in DC now, and he said that one of the things his mom told him before he went to college was like, it'll go a long way when you notice things about women. Like, oh, babe, you did your hair a little bit different today? Or is
Got
that
a
a new
new nail
shirt?
color,
Or
your
did you get your
eyebrows.
nails done? Little things like that like,
Or even being interested. Oh, let me see your nail. You just got your nails done, right? Let me see.
let me see.
Showing a little bit of
those are
interest. Like it's
Yeah.
a small thing.
Oh
it's
my
a
God,
small
yeah.
thing, but like
It's just little
A
stuff
little
that
goes a long
it just
way.
shows
Yeah.
me that you're paying attention to me
like
and
you
that
care
like
about
like,
things
you
I care about.
things that
And you know I care about my nail color.
Right.
You know,
Yeah.
like I'm asking you what color should I get?
Yeah,
Like,
and even though you can't tell the different pinks of shades, like I
I
want you to,
can,
I want you to
yeah.
pick one. Like I think those are little touches.
Those will get the panties dry.
Yeah, yeah. Or like, do you like this outfit? Tell me your truth.
girl, let me see those nails. Just-
Not too. Don't get crazy with it. Don't get crazy with it. Don't try to like. Yeah. Don't. Okay. Yeah. There's a line. But yeah. Just
Adam, what do you
basically
think?
like you know.
What do you think? What touches do you think men bring to women?
Well, the nail thing, Jordan always wants me to pick out.
Yes.
And I always do.
Yes, and we love it. We love that y'all
do.
care enough to respond.
I definitely try to like notice that shit, but she works and owns a salon.
All the time.
Yeah, you're like,
I can't
Keep up.
I can't keep up with that.
I try really hard.
But would you agree that like just noticing nuanced things about her, or
Hold on.
just 1 second.
that's okay. This happens to us every now and then.
No, it's,
It hasn't happened
no,
all
it's
day.
Good. Yeah, it's been fine.
We got a train
then it
coming
just
by. It's a
happens.
little hot in the studio. It's all good. It's all
Choo-choo.
good.
Yeah, not choo choo. Little engine that could. Like, would you say that maybe noticing those things, or like maybe surprising her with something, or just like taking thoughtful things about her has like really been a very important part of your.
She is super good at that stuff.
Huh.
So she's like the little things person.
Yeah.
She like is so good at the little things. Like she thinks of things that I am like, how?
Yeah.
Aw.
Notice that and think of that. She's really good at that. I just try to keep up.
Okay.
I think I'm pretty good at it too.
Yeah.
But like I'm nowhere near close.
Aw.
Yeah.
What she's capable of.
That's
That's
dope.
awesome.
Ultimate man touch would be like leading though too, like being
Yeah.
able to, give your girl game about it. Maybe she just started a business.
Damn, I really I want the audio to hear. You know, this is such a good
Why is it such a
combo.
long
Yeah.
train?
This is a very long train.
But yeah, I think that's the ultimate touch.
Yeah.
And that's what we do a lot too. It's like I had a business, I've had businesses, and then she opened the salon when we were together. So I've been able to like really help a lot with that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like giving her pointers or like helping her just the overall.
See, and maybe that's tough. I don't know. Maybe I need someone.
Thank you.
I've said that I don't need a man that works for themselves, but I do almost feel like,
For
I guess they don't
sure.
have to work for themselves, but you have to be really ambitious in some way, shape, or form.
That
What?
you're both business owners.
It helps our relationship a lot because we both work a lot.
Yeah.
We work all the time. So like
It helps understand each other. Like, you know what I mean? Why are you always at work and like stuff like that?
any previous relationships that I've had have always been with women that didn't own businesses that worked normal jobs. And none of them ever understood me.
Yeah.
We could never get past that point of the relationship because they
You were
just
working
never
so
could
hard.
understand it, and I was always doing something wrong.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Working all the time. I'm like, well, I'm 25 years old at the time. What am I gonna sit at home and watch TV with you?
Yeah.
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 You know what I mean? Me and Jordan have similar goals and things, so I think it helps
Yeah.
a lot. And I do a lot of the shit around the house that she doesn't want to do.
Yeah.
She doesn't do. So I feel like that's where I come in and I'm like, all right, like yesterday I was cleaning the windows.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You were power washing?
Yeah.
No, I had a squeegee.
Oh, you were doing it for real.
Yeah, doing chores.
Yeah,
Her
doing
chores
the
and
hard
your
stuff.
chores.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're ready to get married, buddy.
Yeah.
I love it though, honestly. I love it. It's great. And
It's-
we get to have fun all the time. We do shit together.
It's like finding like a partner for real. Like someone that enjoys the shit that you enjoy, like has similar goals to you.
We were together for like, I don't even know, 3 months probably. And both of us knew we're
Wow.
Really?
Wow, that's beautiful.
I had no doubt.
Wow.
Neither did she.
That
And
you were the
within a
one.
year
She was.
and a half into our relationship, I proposed, and now.
You guys about to
Wow.
get married.
Wow.
That's beautiful.
That is.
So it's kind of true when you know a little bit.
I never believed that. Honestly, I
Wow.
say this to people all the time. I never believed that. I thought that was crazy. I had 2 previous girlfriends, one of them for 7 years, one
Wow.
for 5 years. Like, so I never
Wow.
thought that was true.
Wow.
But then meeting Jordan, everything was just totally different.
Seamless. It sounds like a lot of it was seamless.
Interesting.
Wow.
So like her dad was a photographer growing up, so she like really understands my life.
Creative space.
Yeah.
Like the creative, whole thing. So
That's really cool.
That's beautiful.
Yeah, so you guys complement each other really
Yeah.
well.
Well, blessings, because you're.
she's very outgoing. I'm like an introvert. I don't want to talk to nobody.
That's great.
Balance. All right, so
Yeah,
we're
balance.
on track. Like
It's gonna be okay.
we're on track, y'all.
Lord bless it. Good almighty.
Wow, that was amazing.
That
Well,
was a great episode.
big
Thanks, guys, for your
blessings,
commentary. We
for
appreciate
sure.
it.
on this next chapter, Adam is getting married, y'all.
Yeah. Next time you see us, I think we'll be back before your wedding, week before, so we probably won't see
Yeah.
you, but.
Nonetheless,
All right.
you
Thank you guys
for
Thank you for another
listening.
great episode. We'll see you.
soon.
Next week.
Follow, subscribe, and
Download.
yes, episode 16.
Hit that
Peace.
little plus sign.
Bye.